Hey guys, it's Sarah with the Navajo Mama. Thanks for coming to my channel. First off, I would like to preface my video with that being I'm giving you a warning. This video is going to talk about all things health related. As you can tell, it is covering lupus. For many people, it could be a trigger for those who have lost loved ones to lupus, and for those who have a loved one who is going through something incredibly hard, a hard journey. I don't know if this video would bring back any hard emotions that you have overcome, have gone through, or are going through right now. And so my heart just feels for you, and I hug you, and I know I'm so sorry. I don't mean to cry, but I wanted to preface my video with triggers. So thank you, and if you don't continue watching, that's okay. We all have our own timing, we have our own journey that we're all on, and I just wanted to let you know before you watch the video. Okay. Hey guys, it's Sarah. Thanks for coming on to my video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about my story with lupus. This has been somewhat of a long-awaited video for many of my community within my subscribers, and I want to say I'm sorry, and I would like to apologize first and foremost because I think this video could have come out a lot sooner, and I've had many people asking questions and very curious, and some of you are also fighting lupus as well, and I felt like a comment didn't do justice in replying, so I hope this video reaches you. I hope it reaches you today, and so I'm so sorry. Please forgive me for giving a long-awaited reply to many of those comments concerning such a big, huge topic. For those of you who are new to my channel, I want to say, hey, my name is Sarah. Thanks for coming in. I am a stay-at-home mom of 5 kids. I have a boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to choke up right now. Okay, I get so emotional, so I'm just letting you know. Today's topic is concerning lupus, and lupus is a huge deal. It is big. It is a chronic, lifelong illness. It is not curable. I wish it was. Lupus has been crazy. It's hard, and it puts up a good fight, and it really tries to consume every part of your life. And if you're watching this and if you have lupus, I want you to know I'm sending you all the hugs and all of the strength, and I'm cheering you on, because as many days as there are bad, there are so much more days that are good. There are so much more moments that are great that you should continue living on and striving for. And so for you, I want to say hi, and I want to wrap you and just give you a hug. And for those of you who found my video and you do not have lupus, I would love for you to continue watching this whole video. This video may be lengthy. I try to keep my videos in short and concise, but this is such a huge topic that I wanted to get it all in one video, so it might be really long. But if you don't have lupus and you don't know anyone who has lupus, please watch this video if you can. You can watch a little bit here, a little bit tomorrow, whatever your time allows for. But it is such a huge topic that I feel gets overlooked, and I feel like it's a huge part of life that we just don't talk about. And it's been talked about lately because there have been celebrities such as Selena Gomez and Lady Gaga and Justin Bieber who have had lupus, or who have lupus, I'm sorry, but who have had a hard journey with their lupus. And so I'm glad that there's light coming to it, but I'm not glad how it came to it, because that meant someone suffered. And it's a hard chronic disease, and it's something that is so something that varies in so many ranges that it's hard to pinpoint, and it's hard to get diagnosed in the first place. Lupus is crazy like that. Before I continue on, I also wanted to say, for those of you who have a family member or loved one going through lupus and you don't have lupus, I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you for coming to this video and for watching it up to at least this point, because I cannot tell you how much it means to the person in your life who has lupus. They may not know you're watching and trying to research and learn all you can about lupus, but you're here and that's what matters. So I'm so proud of you and keep it up. What is lupus? Lupus is a lifelong chronic illness. It can enter remission. It can never be cured. It will never go away, but you can have a longer chance of period of remission, basically meaning that your flare-ups, everything that you feel goes away and you can lead a normal life. But in many cases, there are flare-ups that happen to every lupus warrior. Flare-ups range in many ways, and because of that, I'm so sorry. And because of that, it's so hard to diagnose lupus. But lupus affects so many organs in your body: your brain, your kidneys, your liver, your skin, your joints, your heart. And so there are so many things that it affects. Sorry, joints is a symptom, sorry. But there are so many things that lupus affects, and that can be dangerous. There are different variations of lupus. The most common lupus is SLE, which I believe is most common. That's what it says when you research it. But lupus is also different for every person who's battling lupus. Not two people ever have the exact same journey. Many of them are similar. So even for my friends out there who have lupus, I have lupus, you have lupus, but that doesn't mean I know exactly what you go through. I can understand, but you know, at the end of the day, we all live in different homes. We all lead different lives. We all have different goals, and we all have different, you know, a mental health. And so no one is stronger, no one is weaker. We're all going through the same thing. And I'm just so proud of us because we're all strong in our own ways. The symptoms of lupus also vary, and that is one of the hardest things of lupus. A lot of them can overlay with many other illnesses, and quite frankly, it is so hard to be diagnosed with lupus. You can be misdiagnosed, it can be overseen, and sometimes maybe your physician wouldn't even think of it. It's crazy, but that's kind of what happens. I was first diagnosed with lupus at the age of 17. Lupus can be a result of so many different things. My physician at the very early start said that he believed it was caused by another health period that I went through at the time when I was diagnosed. So I'm gonna share with you my journey. Okay, back when I was 15 years old in high school, I noticed that it was getting hard for me to do certain things. I noticed that my body was hurting. I had stomach aches all the time. I figured it was stress from school because I was trying to maintain high grades and I didn't want to disappoint anyone as far as academics went. I was involved with tennis, and I had a lot of pressure going on, and so I felt like all of the stomach pain and everything was from stress. And soon when I went to my PE classes, I couldn't even run the mile. I was vomiting a lot, my stomach hurt, it felt like it was burning, it felt like someone was twisting my stomach on the inside. And I remember not wanting to eat. I remember going home and just laying on a warm pad and wanting the pain to go away. And I vomited a lot. I couldn't even do the normal things a teenager did. I was just constantly in pain. And finally, after visiting our family physician, we found out that I had H. pylori, and within the H. pylori, I also had ulcers. So I was told there was a hole in my stomach, and I was put on triple therapy, and I was taking omeprazole and a PPI, and I was doing all I can to cure that, to get rid of the H. pylori. I was finally able to start eating. I was finally able to, just continue life. So at 15 years old, I found out I had H. pylori. The way I was diagnosed was by a gastroendoscopy, also the breath test and the stool test, just because I had to have like checkups each time. It took me a whole year and a half to battle that, and that's what my physician leads to believe how I contracted this whole lupus. Not really contracted, but like how my lupus started. And so that's what he attributes it to. Lupus comes into play now. So when I was 17, about 16 years old, when I was about 16 and a half, I noticed I was so tired. I would go to sleep early because, of course, the bus, comes super early out to the Navajo Nation. Where I went to school was off the Navajo Nation, which is why it took an hour to get to school. And then after our school and sports and all that, it was an hour home. So when I was 16, the year before my senior year, I noticed I was feeling fatigue. I noticed that I was having hair loss, and I had this ridiculous rash thing going on my face. And at that time, it was embarrassing because it was high school, right? I had my best friend then, who was my now husband. I tried to talk to him, and he was my best friend. We didn't live near each other. We lived 2 hours apart, but I couldn't talk to anyone about what I was feeling. I was tired. I wanted to know why I was tired. I wanted to know why my body hurt, why I had rashes. And so finally, we went back to my family physician and we told him everything going on. He took one look at my face and he said, "I think you have lupus." So he did the test. I went to a rheumatologist, got my ANA. It came back positive. The tether showed that I had lupus, and we then started treatment with prednisone. So we found out after the first week of taking prednisone that I was allergic to it. I vomited. I lost the weight. I was down to like 97 pounds or something, and I remember my parents telling me, eat, because I didn't want to eat. I had no appetite. I was constantly vomiting, and I thought there has to be a better way. So I kept taking the treatment. I finished my high school year. I went to college, university in Michigan, and it was the hardest thing because I had headaches. I had headaches constantly. I went to class every day with headaches. Every day was a battle. I still lived a good life as far as university life goes. It was so cold there, and that was another thing. I couldn't adapt to the cold. I really loved the school and I really loved my friends, but unfortunately I knew I had to come home. So after a year and a half there, I transferred to GCU. At GCU, I kept having headaches. Finally, we got my lupus under control, and one day I just had no more flare-ups. I had no more itching. I had no more rash. My hair wasn't falling out. My headaches were gone. My eyes were okay because my eye vision had changed, and everything felt so good. And then my rheumatologist passed away, and then my family physician passed away. And I was just I was confused. And I figured, hey, I don't have any more symptoms. I didn't know that was remission. Maybe in a way to cope, I didn't want to. I feel like maybe a part of me didn't want to read more about it because I didn't want to know. I did at one point hear that back then lupus had a 5-year survival rate, and I think that scared me. I think that scared me, and it made me suppress the feelings to do research. And so everything was good. Everything was great. Life was going good. It was going great. If you would have asked me in that moment, I would have told you I felt the best I've ever felt in the past like 5 years. I was on top of the world. I was doing so good. I was doing so good, in fact, that life was great. My husband, who was then my fiance, proposed. And I remember when he proposed, I just, October 1st, the first day of my birthday month, he proposed in such a cute, romantic way. And I remember feeling scared. I said yes, but I felt so scared. I felt scared because I have health problems. And I think what scared me was the unknowing of getting married, falling in love, and possibly having more health problems. And I wasn't ready for that. But I said yes because I loved him and my whole heart was in it. And I was like, yes. We had our first baby in April, a year after getting married. And then we had 3 miscarriages. And then we had my daughter. And then we had 2 more miscarriages, and we had my son Cohen. Then we had another miscarriage, and my daughter Nara, and another miscarriage, and then we had my son Noel. So we've had many losses, and all of those miscarriages are attributed to lupus. You see, when you have lupus, I have SLE. Basically, that means that your immune system does not recognize yourself, and so it starts attacking your own cells. So it attacks my own cells, which then gives me rash and joint pain, and the joint pain is unbearable. Like, sometimes I think I'm not at the age of having pain. I mean, I'm not saying people at age should, but like at that time I was thinking I'm young, you know. Even right now, I'm like, I'm young and I have joint pain. Oh my goodness. I look at a stair flight and I'm like, okay, God, give me strength to get up this thing. So it's definitely hard. It's so hard. I wish there was a way I could just paint this clear picture and tell people this is how it is. But it's hard. It's hard to even find the words for it. So before we got married, my husband talked with my dad about having my hand in marriage, and my dad talked to him. My dad told him she has health problems. She does. She is allergic to so many things. Are you gonna be okay? And I think the world of my husband for saying yes, but also he didn't know what he was getting into. And I wish I could say lupus just affected me, but it didn't. Lupus affected my husband. I hear so many people tell me their stories, which are so incredibly amazing, about how lupus had affected them. But lupus affects our family too. When you're married, lupus affects your spouse. When you have a family, lupus affects your children. I know I said that I wouldn't cry, and I'm sorry. But if anything, lupus is hard. It's a hard disease. It's a hard illness. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I wouldn't wish this on the person who's hurt me. Lupus is horrible. So my husband and I got married, and thank God, praise God, I was in remission for a large part of our marriage. Lupus is not the only health problem I have, but it is one of the most strangest and confusing and frustrating journey I have ever been on. And in so many ways, it's caused mental pain, because for so many days, so many days, I prayed and begged God to cure me. I know they say lupus is not curable, but I always believe I have a Father, I have a God who can, because he's the greatest physician, right? Our God is the greatest physician who could cure things. Cure me. But God doesn't work like that. And God is still good. I know it sounds crazy. God is good and everything is in his timing. And I really, truly had to come and have peace with that. And at the end of 2019, I started feeling similar things. I attributed it to having Noel because when I was pregnant with Noel, I thought, I'm pregnant. These are just things my body feels. It's just pregnancy. And then when I gave birth to him, a lot of the symptoms I was feeling, I was scared, but I was denying myself. I was telling myself, it's postpartum. I'm just going through this because it's postpartum. My body's trying to, regulate itself. And then 2020 came. And in 2020, I lost so many loved ones. I feel like I lost a loved one every week, and the way I would dealt with the grief was so hard. I felt like when I finally grieved one loss, another one happened. And my mind tried to play catch up. My symptoms were showing. I started losing my hair. I started forgetting stuff. I couldn't remember things. I started getting dizzy all the time, nauseous. My stomach hurt. And all of this could be brought on by stress. And that's what I thought it was. I felt like 2020 was so bad that it just made my body stress. But during that whole year too, my little family and I, we tried to do things to keep our minds at, like we played games, we went for walks, like as safe as possible. So I feel like I did so much good to help our mental health, but my body was suffering. I had rash come up. There were days I was so sick and tired and had night sweats and fever, and my body started hurting. My joints were hurting. My hands, I couldn't even open a lid. I couldn't, and it was hard. So finally, after putting myself on the back burner and just letting things go and putting in excuses, I told myself, I need to get checked. And I finally told my husband, this is what's going on. Like, it's not just that day when I told you, it was actually all week. And he was then like, why didn't you tell me? And I told him, I didn't tell you because you work so hard for us. You go out there every day, and I want you to have peace of mind that me and the littles are fine, that we're home, we're fine, and everything's good. And I didn't want to add a burden on you. And in trying to help him, I was not helping myself. And it sounds silly. It sounds like, oh, well, you should have just told him. No, that's not how it goes. Trust me, when you're a mom, you're a super mom. When you're a mom, everything else goes away. When you're a mom, it's hard to just put yourself out there and say, you know what? I need help. And if you're a mom out there and you're in those exact shoes or similar to what I was in, it's okay. It's okay to not have everything together. It's okay to struggle when it comes to making lunchtime, dinner, breakfast, snacks, all in between. At that point, my husband and I talked, and we finally came to terms that I needed to get seen. I had to start all over. I established a new provider, and I started seeing her, and she recommended me to go to this rheumatologist, and I've been working with an RA, a roomie. I've been working with my family provider. I've been working with an infectious disease. And so we did blood work and everything, came back positive for lupus. Since then, I have taken prednisone, but I had to kind of do that in a tricky way because I was nursing two of my littles, and I had to safely do that, and I'm already allergic to prednisone. So I took that for a good month, and I felt really awful. I finally decided to get off of the lupus, and I finally decided to get off of prednisone. I wish I could get off lupus, but I got off the prednisone. Aside from prednisone, I also try to combat my flares through just writing down what causes my flares, what triggers flares, and I've also tried a diet to where I don't eat red meat and stuff like that. So a lot of it's diet change and just writing down, being mindful of what causes my flare-ups, and that really, really helps. So I wear long sleeves, I have diet change, I try to do my best to prevent flare-ups. As far as prednisone goes, I will not be on that right now just because there's a lot of other stuff that go into play. And I started to just live life. I thought, you know what, these sore joints and everything I go through, it's not gonna stop me. It's not gonna stop me from taking my littles out and going nature walks or going hiking. It's not gonna stop me from taking my littles to the park, which if you go back into my vlogs and the whole history, you're gonna see that I take my littles to the parks a lot. Outdoor time is so important to me, even though the sun is my enemy. Sounds crazy, but like, I love hot heat and I love the sun, but the sun doesn't love me. My body does not love the sun. And when I'm out in the sun a lot, I come home and I'm tired. I will literally, my body will hurt. I will be covered in rash. My face will just blister. My lips will become swollen. My eyes will just hurt. It will hurt to literally look around like that. I know that I will get stomach cramps. My feet get swollen. And you're like, geez, woman, that's a lot. But yeah, it's so important to me, though, to continue doing life, to take my littles out. And I would never, ever, ever, ever by any means encourage you ladies to do the same thing, because I don't know what you have at risk, or I don't know what you're going through. I don't know your circumstances. But for me, my lupus story, I'm not going to let lupus win. I'm not going to let lupus damper life, and I'm not going to let lupus make any choices for me. So we continue doing things. When I go outdoors, I'm always wearing a long sleeve. That is actually one of my newest hobbies. I love fashion and I love to, dress cute and look presentable and stuff like that. So it's tricky. It's tricky to find long sleeves, especially when we live in the desert. My goodness. Like, finding a really cute long sleeve that's thin, can let air go through, and that looks nice is like finding a unicorn when shopping. So I know it presents challenges, but I have to get creative in the way I dress. Unfortunately for me, last year I didn't get to wear short cuts much at all. I think I did during the summer just a couple of times, but then I would pay for it when I get home, and so I mostly wear long jeans. But here in the house I wear like shorts. I go outside for some times and I wear shorts. I've been going swimming lately. I try to stay in the shade more so than the sun, but I don't let lupus determine my time and how much I can go outside. I have had a lot of questions from many people asking how I do life with lupus. And I know that it's hard. I know lupus is so hard. Trust me, I get it. Lupus is not just hard physically, but it's so hard emotionally and mentally, because we feel like prisoners in our own body. It's hard. From the moment sometimes when you get out of bed, you're constantly fighting and grasping to live for that day. It's sometimes making dinners hard and it's exhausting. I've had to learn to say no to so many things. I've had to learn boundaries, and I've had to learn to put myself first and not do things. So at the risk of sounding mean or rude, I've had to tell people, no, I'm so sorry, we can't meet you guys at the park today. Like, the old me would have been like, yeah, let's go. But I've had to tell people that, and people don't understand what lupus is like. And so that is my story with lupus. Another aspect to lupus is, like I mentioned, the effects it has on marriage. So if you know anyone who is enduring lupus, going through the early stages, or is far along in their journey, I just want to encourage you to be patient with them. Next time, I'd really love to cover tips and advice and encouragement for lupus. So I wanted to talk about advice for those of you who know someone who's going through lupus, and things you shouldn't say, and things that, you know, I want to encourage you to remind your lupus warriors about. So I want to go over that in another video. That will be next time. But in today's video, I will let you know that one of the hardest things to say to someone battling lupus is this: you don't look sick. That's because lupus is hard. So please don't say that to anyone who has lupus. Don't tell them that they don't look sick, or that they look fine, or what's wrong with you now, or what's wrong. Those are really hard questions and really hard statements for those who have lupus to continue to hear. So thank you guys for giving my video a listen. I really appreciate it. I appreciate it not just for me and my channel, but I appreciate it for all of those who are battling lupus out there. I am so thankful I am able to share that with you today. My next video will be about how I'm battling H. pylori gastritis, and another thing that I want to talk to you about. So, but thank you again for watching this video, and I really hope you guys have a really good evening. Hug your loved ones, love on them, be there for them. Thank you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Hug on it, be kind, and be loving to each other. And for those of you who live in this crazy heat, keep cool. Bye.